Well, let's take a little bit further. Let's say that you had the power, that you actually had the power to scoop up a clump of ground, a clump of dirt. And you were artistic and you could form that thing and shape that thing and mold that thing into a little person. And say you had the power to breathe life into it. And then the next thing you know, that little thing you breathe, like you took all that time and energy and effort and skill and labor and everything to form and fashion that little person. And then you had the power to breathe, breathe life into it. And that little thing stood up and looked at you and said, spit in your face. Now, you know what most of our reactions as humans would be? You already know where I'm headed. Most of our reaction will be this. Boom! I'll start over. Now, you got no more appreciation of that little man. Boom! Squish you like the piece of clay you are. God had every right to do that with us. He came into his own, and his own would not even welcome him. God incarnate, God in the flesh came. But listen, there's a good side of that coin. Next verse says, but as many as received him, to them he gave the right to become children of God, to those who believe in his name. Now the original King James says, but as many as received him, to them gave he power. That word power means authority. To them he gave the authority to become sons and daughters of the living God. Hallelujah. Glory to God. I don't know about you, but that puts me on shouting ground. Glory to God. But as many as will receive him, you got to first receive him. And if you receive him, to them he gave power, the right to become the children of God, to those who believe in his name. Verse 13 says, who were born not of blood, nor the will of the flesh, nor the will of man, but of God. Who owe their birth neither to blood, nor to the will of the flesh. That speaks of physical impulse. Nor to the will of man. That speaks of a natural father. But to God. He is saying they are born of God. Hallelujah. And verse 14 says, and the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory. The glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. We're about to enter into the season every year that we celebrate this event. We're about to enter into the season where we recognize where the world even whether they even want to or not, unless they're hiding up under a rock in a monastery somewhere, they're going to hear about Jesus this Christmas season. They're going to hear the word Christ. As much as what they try to remove it from the equation, they're going to hear the word Christ. Again, I advocate if the stores and merchants you do business with, if they don't recognize Christmas for what it is, don't do business with them. I don't know if that Target's changed their policy. I don't deal with Target anymore. I ain't dealt with Target probably 7-8 years. And I sure ain't dealt with them. For that's one of the reasons I stopped dealing with them, because they refuse to recognize Christmas. They didn't want their employees to say Merry Christmas. And so I stopped dealing with them. And then later on, of course, now they got where anybody can go in anybody's bathroom. Don't matter if you're man or woman. You can go in any bathroom, whether it's men's room or female's room. You can go. That's their policy now. I don't know who's making the rules and decisions, who's at the top, but I just tell you this. I think they got about as much sense as a box of rocks. So I don't do business with Target or anybody else that I know of that I can help not do business with that is dishonoring to the Lord and not using plain old common sense. Really, is what it's got a lot to do with. So, but we're moving to the Christmas season just a few weeks from now. So, boy, it's hard to believe Christmas is already here, almost, isn't it? We're moving into the Christmas season. The Word became flesh The Word, of course, Christ, became human. He was incarnate. And it says he dwelt among us. That word dwelt means he tabernacled. He fixed his tent of flesh, and he lived here a while. Among us. He tabernacled among us. And John says, and we actually saw his glory. We actually saw his honor. We actually saw his majesty. Such glory as an only begotten Son received from his Father, full of grace, which means favor, loving kindness, and truth.